Hi, it's Sally-Shakti, and this is a new moon journaling practice for the new moon in Capricorn on the 23rd of December, 2022. This is the last moon of our solar year, our calendar year, and it's a strong one, a powerful one. It's a super moon, which means that the moon is closest to the earth, although we won't see it because it's a new moon, so we won't see it in the sky. But it's close to the earth. It's traveling with the sun in Capricorn. And the energy for this moon has been building. Some astrologers I listen to say that this has been building since the middle of 2021, because as well as the new moon in Capricorn, on this, at the same time, on the same day, Chiron, the wounded healer, goes direct, and that marks a shift into a deeper integration of some of the healing and the recognition of our own wounding that we've been experiencing since the middle of 2021. So some of those things that have been coming up repeatedly over the last year and a half, it's their time to be alchemized now. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that they're gone, but it might mean that, especially with Chiron, these are wounds that we're working on throughout our lifetimes, but we have a deeper integration and understanding of what those wounds are and how we can resource ourselves and be present with them when they show up, integrating them more into our embodied wisdom of what it means to be alive here on this planet, here and now. And another big energy that we're traveling with, as well as the winter solstice, which we're still in that portal of the winter solstice. So it's a real dark time of the year, dark moon, dark sun in the northern hemisphere. It's a powerful portal for death and rebirth, for shedding, releasing, healing, and setting new intentions. That's a strong energy. And as well as the portal of the winter solstice that we're in with this new moon, we also have Jupiter. We're still in the energy of Jupiter entering Aries, which Jupiter entered Aries on, I think it was the 20th, just around the solstice. So we're still in that new energy of Jupiter in the early degrees of Aries. What that signals is the end of a 12-year cycle that started in 2010 and the beginning of our next phase of growth and expansion, joy and abundance. These are the energy signatures that Jupiter carries. If my maths is a little bit slow today, it's because I'm trying to record this in between sneezes. So I've been resting in that winter solstice dark moon portal all day, and bringing this to you now as I feel able to, but slowly. So we have a lot to work with this moon, and it's a powerful moon being in Capricorn. It's a moon of intention setting for taking practical, solid actions. So when we put all that together, we can begin to recognize a pattern where we're being invited to really shed once and for all some of the deep patterning and programming that we have carried through our lives and that have been showing up for us in this last period of time, particularly when that's around structures and the ways we've been doing things, the structure of our lives. We can already see in the wider world the financial structures and other, not just global economic structures, but other corporate structures and governmental structures are beginning to collapse and crumble. And within my life, certainly, the structures that I had embodied and perpetuated as part of the ways that I'd been doing things absolutely are no longer working. And that feels like a journey that I've been on throughout this past 12-year cycle, 12 years ago, I changed my name. I took the name Sally-Shakti Willow. I left marriage. I left my career as a teacher, and I left the county that I had been born and grown up in. It was a massive life shift for me. I just turned 30 years old, and I left with the intention to move forward into actually what's really only just opening up for me significantly now. It's taken for me, I on reflection, it's taken the whole of this previous 12-year cycle for me to make that transition from the old structures, that the old embedded structures that were embodied within me, in my belief systems, in the ways that I was doing things, the ways that I believed things had to be, the way that I believed I had to be. And I can see that it's taken me the whole of this 12-year cycle to really, on a deep level, a deep foundational level, shed those old structures. And now I feel like I'm being given the invitation to start to create my own structures, start to create with structures that are meaningful for me, but also are nourishing for me, and that are supportive for not only my needs and desires, but also my community and the planet. I've been listening to podcasts talking about not only co-creation and co-creative economies, but community economies and sharing and collaborative economies. This is something that's taken me 12 years to create a transition where I feel now in a place that I can step forward into something truly new and different, because the shedding of those old layers and structures really does take time and a lot of healing and a lot of process, and moving through those layers in different stages and different phases of my life. Even through the last 12 years, I can see the different iterations that I was creating. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to stop talking soon. And so maybe you recognize in your own life some similar, a similar trajectory or some similar patterns and processes. So let's start this journaling practice with acknowledging and letting go of what is ready now to be released. And we'll do this by grounding, first of all, down into the bones. Capricorn is associated with the bones. Capricorn is how we structure ourselves, our lives, our skeleton. So we're going to ground into our bones. We're going to feel our bones, feel a connection with our bones, and feel the connection that our bones have with whatever is supporting us right now, the chair, the seat, the floor, the earth. Feeling our bones as connected to the earth, part of the earth, part of the mineral structure of the earth. And just sensing an extension all the way from our bones that's being met equally by the supportive rocks and stones and mineral structures of the earth, reaching up to meet us. And as we feel that connection, my invitation to you is to begin to move your pen across the page, and again, feeling that sensory connection, that physical connection of your pen moving across the page, your fingers and your hand moving the pen, your arm moving your hand, connected all the way up through your bones into your heart. So breathing with that, noticing that physical connection. And then holding the intention that as we Move the pen and let the ink flow out onto the page here. We're releasing and letting go what is ready to be released, what is no longer fit for us to carry forward. We may or may not know what those things are or what that thing is. And we don't have to be attached to knowing or not knowing. Just allowing the hand to move across the page, the pen to move across the page, sensing that physical connection, sensing support of the rocks and stones and minerals and mountains of the earth, and breathing. And we can continue with this practice for as long as feels necessary, as long as feels right for you. Breathing, feeling, releasing. When you feel ready to stop, coming back gently to your breath. And if you want to pause, feel free to pause the video and carry on. I'm going to have to mute the sound for a moment and blow my nose. Okay, I'm back. Apologies for that. And so we allow then this movement across the page to shift into words when we're ready. And initially, the words are whatever is there. So allow yourself to write and be present with whatever you're feeling right now. And you can write that over the top of your scribble page, or you can write it around the edges or alongside or on a new page, wherever feels right for you. This writing is for you. It's not intended for it to be for anybody else or for anyone else to read. And from my perspective, it's not really even intended to be looked back on. So it doesn't have to be legible. It doesn't have to be right, correct, grammatically perfect. Just want you to allow your hand to continue moving across the page and let something that resembles letters and words form as thoughts move through your mind, and you transfer those onto the page, letting them out. And then when you're ready, and you can continue this by pausing the video if you want. When you're ready, allow those free writing words to gain some focus as we move into our journaling practice for the Capricorn New Moon. So the first journaling prompt or theme or question is, what is the deeply held programming and patterning that you are ready to release at this time? And take a few minutes to journal with that, and I'll keep an eye on the time. And if you need a little longer with that, feel free to pause here. The next prompt is, how would you like to see yourself in 12 years' time? So that's bringing in the energy of the new Jupiter cycle. And then working with the Capricorn New Moon specifically, how can you take small practical steps towards your big vision? So take a few minutes to write with those prompts, which I'll repeat in just a moment, and I'll manage the time. So how would you like to see yourself in 12 years' time? And how can you take small practical steps towards your big vision? And if you'd like to take more time with that, then feel free to pause the video here. And our final journaling prompt is, where can you learn from your own wounding to deepen in wisdom through self-compassion and step more into your own truth, vulnerability, and authenticity? So this one is related specifically to Chiron, but also brings in this Capricorn energy as well. Where can you learn from the wounding that you've experienced and integrate that to become stronger in yourself and more firm in your foundations, allowing that wisdom to that wounding to become wisdom within you? So take a few moments with that one, and I'll keep an eye on the time. And if you need a few extra moments with that one, feel free to pause the video here. And so our ritual is complete for this new moon in Capricorn, the last moon of the year. I look forward to seeing you in 2023 for more new moon and full moon journaling, and wish you blessings on your festive season, however you celebrate it and whatever you celebrate. Sending you lots of love.